to Amazon Podcast, episode number 11.
Welcome back!
We're back. It's been a few months since we last recorded.
1 month.
Okay, well that was just me. When was the last episode? 2 months ago.
2 months.
2 months ago. What's happened in 2 months, Christopher?
Not a lot.
Not a lot. So here today, usual host, Henry Miller, and I'm here with Christopher,
Yes.
my new roommate as well.
Yeah.
Or, I'm your new roommate.
Yeah, that's true. This is like Days of Our Lives, not becoming Days of Our Lives.
We should do an episode like that one day. Days of Our Lives with Christopher Durek.
We have some things we want to go through today. First, we're going to tell you some news. Then we're going to tell you about a new installment in the podcast.
Yeah, we're getting organised and shit, like sections and stuff.
Absolutely. And we're going to talk about campaign stuff. This is the big new thing. Then we're going to talk to you about hobby stuff. And we're going to talk to you about the recent ETC, well, not so recent
now.
Not so recent ETC warm-up tournament we went to.
Yes. So yeah, basically in the last 2 months we had Hammer, which was successful, and hopefully you've watched the live streams of that on YouTube. If you can't find it, then just
go find it.
Watch it.
It's awesome. I win.
Yeah, Christopher, you won your first game.
I did.
And then we had the ETC warm up a few weeks later, and then everyone's been on holiday.
Yeah, after warm up, everybody kind of sort of had enough of Warhammer, really.
Yeah, actually, I was really enthused for Night Phage.
Yeah, everybody just went home and started painting stuff.
I really want to play, but I'm going on holiday.
Yeah. No, talking to you with some news first.
Yeah, so there's not actually that much news at the moment. Nothing new is coming out, but new things are coming out. They're on the way. In the next month, we're going to have some new army books and hopefully a rule book coming on the way.
Interesting.
It's the ETC next week, so after the ETC, the army books are all going to get redone, or at least tweaked a little bit. And I think the next army book to come out is going to be Warriors of the Dark Gods. And either before or after that will be the big red rulebook.
Looking forward to that one.
Yeah, and that'll have a little bit of fluff from all the armies and stuff.
Interesting. I can't wait for them to bring out the Nerf hammer to all the small stuff that's really breaking some of the armies, like the prelate from the Empire.
The Pope wagon. Oh my god.
I think the Thundercocks guys, they really covered it well, so we're not going to talk too much about it, but I'm pretty sure that it was 22 out of 23 or 24.
22 out of 24 ETC Empire of Sunstar lists.
Yeah, had the prelate.
Yeah. Okay, it's pretty good.
Hashtag broken.
Yeah. So there's going to be a few things that are nerfed, and probably a few things that are buffed as well. So hopefully I think I read a post somewhere that the Tomb King... Drink.
Get your beer.
Come on, it's been too long.
Oh no.
Undying Dynasty's list army is about the middle tier, and that's the desired power level of all the other army books.
Yeah, and obviously you can't keep everybody happy, and I for one is not happy with the Undying Dynasties.
I is not happy about the Undying Dynasties.
No, more in the sense that I don't think they're overpowered or underpowered, but I just think that the things that are really good in the list are things that I don't play. I don't play the Monster Mash and that stuff. I like the Bone Legion, but I guess I should just go mix it into
maybe
a VC
maybe
army.
they will tweak that a little bit.
I don't think so, really.
I don't think they're going to change it either, but we'll see. So yeah, that's a little bit of news, and the most recent thing, I think it was actually today. Was it today?
It was
last week.
14 days ago.
Okay, we're a little bit behind, just a week. At least I saw it today. What's the official title on the Night Phage forum? It's like the questions.
It's the Army Direction Survey.
Army Direction Survey. So go onto the Night Phage forum, go to General Discussion, and click Army Direction Surveys. You can also find it on the news section. These are surveys that's asking you about what the character of each army should be like. So, for example, Highborn Elves, which is, I think, the bone of contention in a lot of people's, at least from the Highborn Elves point of view. is lacking character, and so the Ninth Age team wants to know exactly what you think about your army and what you think its playstyle should be, what its strengths should be, what its weaknesses should be. So for me, I think the Highborn Elves should be like magical and infantry based, and probably shouldn't play in gun lines. It's a bit annoying, and they should be able to do flying circuses. They should be able to do big monsters, and it's kind of asking you like, what kind of army do you want to play with, and also, if you have opinion on armies that you don't play, what you think their characteristics should be. So I think this is really important for everyone who has an opinion on the Ninth Age. You should go in there and have a look and just cast your votes, because it will be taken into account when they tweak the armies again in September.
And also try to focus on not, because people have a tendency to vote for the way that things really are. So it's like, what should the Empire be good at? Well, it should be really good at flagellants and prelate and cannons.
Yeah.
It's like, well, maybe not.
I think if you go on the Empire of Sunstyle page, I think the top one will be like heavy shooting.
Yeah.
It'll be like, cannons should be the theme of the Empire.
So rather than thinking about what you really think is really good at the moment, because that's always susceptible to change, think about what kind of an army would you want your army to be in the future.
Yeah.
And what should it be able to do and what should it not be able to do.
Yeah, for me, like an Empire of Sunstyle should be like a synergy.
Yeah.
Probably like kind of all comers, like a bit of everything.
I was always thinking that Empire has the ability to do everything, but they're really not good at doing any of it.
Yeah.
So it's like, we can fight, but we're
very well.
halberdiers.
Yeah.
There's a limit on that.
Yeah.
And we can do magic, but we can do all sorts of magic,
But
and
not
we're
very
not very well now.
I think that's actually a problem with the magic phase, because a level 2 wizard, a level 2 elf wizard is pretty much the same as a level 2 like human wizard.
Yeah. But there's different ways to go about that. You can either decrease level availability with a following decrease in price, so you just spam more level 1s if you want that.
Yeah.
That would actually be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like have one of each battle mage, like like maybe 50 points for level 1.
eight level 1 wizards, one in each
that would be
lore.
awesome.
It's like having a lore master.
But only 8 times. So
400 points is about the same cost.
Yeah. So, but I've never understood how Empire kind of. I always thought of Empire like this is the army that's always bringing lots of stuff. They've got big units of infantry, medium units of cavalry. They've got the characters. They've got a little bit of war machines. Yeah. But right now it's basically 2 blocks flagellants, characters galore, war machines for the rest, and steam tanks on the flank. Yeah. It's like. Maybe that shouldn't be the idea. I know that this is like the meta power army thing, but I think a lot of the 9th Age, and that was also a problem in 8th edition, is that it's deteriorated into bringing the maximum value for points units.
Yeah, but I think we are also looking at it from ETC point of view.
Yeah, but I'm more thinking in the fluff sense that Warhammer has always been about regiments fighting each other.
Yeah, for sure.
And most of the time, with exceptions to that, obviously, like the Wood Elf, Ninja Prince, what is it called? Shapeshifter Lord, like a colourful exception to that. Yeah. But other than that, it should be like the units doing the fighting.
Yeah, like if you think about the fluff point of view, at least in the old fluff, like a steam tank, there's like 10 steam tanks in the Empire.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm coming up to a battle. I'm going to play the Empire of Sunstyle. Why is there 2 steam tanks?
Well, right, they fixed that because now it's one of a kind. Yeah. But I don't think they did that from a fluff perspective. I think they did that from a
game perspective.
Exactly.
But still, like the steam tank shouldn't be a go-to option in every game.
I always thought I never.
Do you know Explicit Skill 4?
Yeah, I know this.
Explicit Skill 4 cannon.
The argument was that it's always, almost always going to move. But now, as I learned from our ETC warm-up in Herning, is that the steam tank can actually choose not to move.
Really?
I did not know that. Yes.
Can it do that? Can it pivot?
It cannot. It can either choose to use 1 dice or 2 dice. I think 3 dice. You can actually choose the amount of dice. You can also choose 0 dice.
Wow.
So you stand in place and fire ballistic skill 4 cannon.
Goodbye, Pegasus Lord.
Yeah, goodbye your flying 250 point character.
Yeah, but we'll get to that. Yeah. So, what's the first topic on the agenda for tonight?
Well, it was the news with the poll.
Oh yeah, we just did that though.
We just did that.
So what the second section?
Second section, introducing the news section.
The campaign section.
Campaign stuff.
Campaign stuff section.
At the moment.
That's all.
Susceptible to change.
Yeah, exactly. Will be changed at some point to a fluff name.
We are starting in the Hammer podcast group
Yes,
with friends,
with the guys.
with the guys. We will be starting a campaign. We haven't quite figured out the name for it yet. I have painted 80%
It's really good.
of an old Mighty Empires set from the fabled Warhammer 8th edition.
Yeah, after we finish, I'm going to take a picture and then I'm going to put it on the show notes.
Yeah.
And so you can see it. It's really good.
I've painted rivers, forest, a little bit of desert, a little bit of mountains. Not quite finished, lacking some details, but
And we haven't done the castles yet.
I haven't done all the cities, castles, and mines yet. No. It's basically because we are playing a lot of games, and we thought it would be interesting to put a little bit of more connection in between those games that we're actually playing and put that into play, so that it's just not an endless series of 1v1s where you try out maybe new tactics and whatnot. Now we're actually
Have
fighting.
a bit more meaning.
Yeah, so, and the rules we've made for this is really simple. It's like Risk.
I've never played Risk.
Well, Risk is where you just try to capture segments of countries and try to capture continents by the end of it. It's basically the same, only that it's all about capturing the two big metropolises.
Metropolises?
Metropolises?
That's not a word.
Well, metropolis in the plural, in the middle, and hold those for 3 turns, obviously, against all the other guys.
Yeah, so if you get those two metropolises,
Metropolis?
we have to Metropolix.
Well, I used the words what is it called, like spell check, and it said metropolises.
Metropolises. Yeah, so if you get the two metropolises, then you have to hold them for 3 turns. You win, but there's also going to be 6 other players trying to stop you.
Yeah, yeah. And we've got cities, which is like fallback points for you. You have 2 armies in the field, which you can move and fight with.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't go over the rules that much.
No, but it's more like there's like
choke
points.
We can post the rules on the show notes.
Sure.
So then, if you want to use our homemade rules, you can use them as well.
Yeah, obviously, we haven't tried them yet.
Yeah,
They might not work. They might not work. They might not be fun at all.
It might be really shit, but
They might be really fun though.
yeah, it might be really good.
We put a lot of effort into it. Not the rules, but like designing the map.
Oh god, we spent like, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours the other night.
I think so. Everything's like
building it.
balanced, but it looks natural at the same time. Like
has to look cool, but also be fair.
Yeah, that's kind of the way we went about it.
Yeah, you'll see a picture of the map, and we'll post the rules.
And we will be bringing you regular updates on what happens.
Yeah.
I will be the game master.
The Game Master.
I will do tons of funky stuff with my players.
Can you? I mean, I'm probably.
It came out wrong.
It came out wrong.
I will not drag them into dark places and do stuff. Well, I might. Well, you guys. Well, no.
Maybe you can give. I know I'm going to be playing this, and you wanted to keep it top secret. But maybe you can give an example on the podcast of what kind of special events might happen in the campaign.
So I can already say for sure now that there's going to be 2 events which will happen. So the players themselves, they will start along the edges of the map, and there will be independent factions in between. And some of the independent factions, though, they won't be aggressive, and if you attack them, they will defend themselves and whatnot. But some of them are on like the sides of the map, and if they don't get attacked, they will stir up over time, and they will launch their own. They will do their own things. They might not just stay passive for the whole game if you do nothing to it. Yeah, it might be a crusade.
Yeah.
Who never knows? And obviously, there's going to be some quest battles in between. For good or for worse.
Will there be like a magic ring that appears? And we have to destroy the magic ring in the volcano in the north?
It's going to be, sometimes it's going to be like really, really shitty for the player who coincidentally is doing really well. And sometimes it's going to be completely random. I can tell you right now.
Should we make a table and roll dice?
I've got my own system laid out.
Okay.
And there is going to be a comet at one point.
A comet?
A comet.
Oh, that's cool.
So there's a couple of different things I've got going. I can't really say too much.
Yeah. I don't want to know. I don't want to know
podcast,
too much.
So,
do they all listen? Do you think that? I don't think they listen.
I think they listen.
I don't think. I know Patrick doesn't listen.
Well,
and Rasmus listens.
I think most of the guys actually do.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
I thought it was just me.
Nah, not always.
Okay. I know you've been listening a little bit.
I've been listening a little bit, but I paint a lot of stuff as well at the same time, so it's like good entertainment. Hearing yourself talk half the time.
Hearing yourself talk while you paint.
moving on from the campaign stuff.
Yes, so this is the hot topic of this evening, is the hobby section. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about hobby. It's Christopher and I today, and we are probably the two people who are doing the most hobby at the moment. Oliver's also doing quite a lot, but he doesn't have as much time as you and I.
No.
So, Christopher, what hobby stuff have you been doing?
Well, I have been painting my Dread Elves stuff. I'm really trying to piece together an army. I've got this Assassin's Creed theme going.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit on the podcast before.
I think I have failed the audience in the sense that I haven't uploaded any pictures.
Yeah, you did. So now you have to give a verbal representation of what you're doing.
So, for those of you who don't know, the Assassin's Creed series is a series of like computer games and console games where you play like an assassin who's like it's kind of like the old Hitman games where you like design your assassinations, but more of a focus on storytelling and like free roaming around maps.
Yeah, you kind of like run around the map and kill people.
But I always like they've got this kind of like Dan Brownish infusion between history and fiction.
Yeah.
So they're really mixing fiction and history together. It's like so my army takes inspiration from the second game, which is set in Renaissance Italy.
Yeah, it's like 16th century, right?
1450 something, I
yeah,
think.
Something like that.
Like the
later medieval period.
Rodrigo Borgia is Pope.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah. So it's like
so it's like Leonardo da
15th
Vinci.
century.
Yeah. And I really like the uniforms of the soldiers, and I think it fits really well with the Dark Elves models. Actually, some of the Dark Elves models can be converted into representing these models quite well with a mixture.
So maybe we should just talk about what models you're using.
Yeah. So I wanted to include assassins, obviously. They're like the first thing, and I wanted to include Ezio also. And so for the obvious, and you know, can only ever be one real Ezio, and that's Shadowblade from the old 8th edition. So I got him the Games Workshop plastic kit, and I painted him in a fairly, what do you say that, like cartoonish but basic way.
It's quite bright colours, and it's quite big. Like the shadows are quite stark.
Yeah, very cartoonish, and then with the red, white, gold, and silver themes.
Yeah, it looks really good. Like the cape on the back side is like white, and then on the inside is red.
Yeah. And
you have the Assassin's Creed logo on the back. It's really cool.
Yeah, I have it here in my hand. I put a lot of time. I had to paint the cape individually, and I also got some, even if I do say so myself, some good blending in the red.
Yeah, it looks really good.
So, and the bases, I'm going for like an autumn theme.
Yeah.
With the bases.
I have some autumn leaves if you want some autumn leaves.
Yeah, that's like my main quest at the moment, like finding etched brass leaves, which are
like what are they called? Elm seeds?
Yeah, elm seeds. But elm seeds look good in a natural way.
Yeah.
But I need to find them in the like correct colors.
Okay.
I want them to be
Yeah.
It's difficult. Bases are an issue, and so they have like cobblestone bases and then autumn leaves on them.
So you have the assassin model as like not the centerpiece, but obviously a focal point of the army.
Yeah.
And what else brings the Assassin's Creed theme out?
Well, I've got a lot of shades in there at the moment. Well, 10 at the moment, and I made these from kit bashing the old Glade Guards, I believe they're called.
Yeah, the Glade Guards, the ones with the hoods.
Yeah, with the Corsairs from the Dark Elves range.
Yeah, so 2 hand weapons and hoods and capes.
And then the hand bows goes great, and then I cut the arrow quivers in the back. I cut them short, and then extended. So by that also I extended the capes, and then kept the theme with the red and white. I think I've got one in my hand right now. I also tried to keep the cartoonish look to keep it in line with the whole.
Yeah, the way you've done the metal on the sword blade is really good. Like the contrast looks really good. Like with the black and the silver.
Yeah,
it's quite big contrast. It looks really nice. We'll post some pictures. I'll take some pictures after, and then you can have a look as well. So you have the Ezio, who's the assassin.
Yeah,
and then his buddies, which are like the shades.
Absolutely, yeah. And so the whole point of the Assassin's Creed game is having like the church against the assassins.
Yeah.
So the church is represented by one of my mages.
Yeah. So the sorcerers are like the priests, right?
Exactly. I've got actually managed to find a model who's That's looked incredibly similar to a pope.
You actually have a pope.
1450 century pope.
And he's your level 4?
I'm actually playing level 2s.
Okay.
I'm actually playing level 2s. So I found him from Game Zone Miniatures.
Games and Miniatures? Cool.
Yeah,
I haven't got any of their models.
Maybe he was from Avatars of War. I'm not entirely certain. It's called Inquisitor. It's called Inquisitor something.
You know what? I bought some Avatars of War models as well, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Right. So he's really nice. And then I converted some of the new Blackguard models.
Yeah, these look really cool.
I used the basic model. I didn't do any conversions to that. I did remove some of the excessive spikes and skulls and all that. And then I did a very simple head swap with some gladiatorial helmets from, I think it was called maxmini.eu company.
Okay.
And these are some gladiatorial helmets, and they look proportionally actually really good with them.
Yeah, they fit really well.
They're designed with them, and so their colors, the Papal Guards colors are black and red also, but also gold, and they've got this, what do you call that, enamel armor?
Yeah, it's like a kind of enamel-y, shiny black armor. How did you do that actually? Is it a special paint?
Yeah, it's just basically a gloss varnish over a basic black spray spray, because the best black color you get is the one you get from the spray.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the deepest color.
Okay.
The one that lets.
I don't spray my models.
Oh no.
No, I just paint them with
always.
I don't have any spray paint. Well, I prime them first with just a black undercoat.
Yeah, but that's not entirely the same because there's resin in the spray.
Okay.
And that's the reason you do it, because when you apply the resin, it sticks easier to the model.
Okay.
And that way, the paint with the resin in it is porous.
Yeah. So it soaks in a bit more.
Yeah. So the next layer of paint will have a lot easier time actually sticking in place and adhering to that.
So we're such a hobby podcast, Christopher.
Yeah, I know. You should always prime your models. Always. Even if you want to, you can prime them grey, the exact same grey as when they came off the sprue. But it helps a lot to keep your paints in place. Otherwise, they will be a lot more runny.
Like I used to when I lived back in England. I used to spray my models out in my back garden. But I haven't had a back garden for 3 years, so I haven't been able to
enter the yard.
Yeah, so now I have a back garden.
Yeah.
I can spray my models. I'm actually moving in 2 days, 3 days, something like that.
4 days.
4 days.
Specific.
Okay.
And then it's the first.
Yeah.
Officially.
Officially.
It will be. Today is
Thursday.
And the big move will be done on Sunday.
Sunday morning. Yeah. So these models are really cool. Just to describe the helmet from the gladiator helmet, it's a bit like I can't remember. Back in high school in England, we learnt like all the different types of gladiator. It's the kind of gladiator that has a sword and shield and armor. It's his helmet, and it's like a brim with like a point with like a helmet.
Do you call it a fisherman's hat?
Yeah, it looks a little bit like a fisherman's hat with like a face guard.
Yeah, exactly.
It looks really cool. I'll take a picture of these as well so you can see.
And so obviously these are going to be watching out for like Cesare Borgia and Rodrigo Borgia, the Pope. Also, but not quite in there yet, it's going to be all my core units are actually going to be like papal or Renaissance Rome.
What models are you going to use for those?
I'm going to use for my spearmen. I'm going to be using some Dogs of War models.
Oh, the old pikemen.
The old, I think they're actually called Rico's Republican Guard.
Okay, awesome.
And those were financially hazardous to acquire.
How many did you get?
I got 40.
40? How did you track down 40 of those?
It's been... Let's just say that this project has been in the back of my mind for a long time, so I've been hoarding all the models that I need to.
I've been doing the same with my Glade
Riders,
actually.
My! I mean, so those were expensive. I think I paid for some of them were really expensive because they were like rank and file.
Okay.
And so the way that the used market works is that if it's unpainted, yeah, I got some of them on eBay. I got 20 of them on eBay, and they were by far the most expensive. I think they were like.
Yeah.
Like £100 for 20? I think
1,000 kroner?
Yeah, maybe even more.
Yeah. Well, with the exchange rate now, that's quite good.
Yeah, with the exchange rate, it was a good deal, but back then it was a shitty deal. But nobody had them.
Yeah. It's like the Kislev ones.
Yeah.
They're gold.
And then I put up a notice on a Danish Warhammer forum saying that I was interested in these models, and then out of the blue, this guy contacts me, and he's got basically an entire unopened in blisters and boxes still.
Wow.
Dogs of War army, and so I didn't want to cheat him out of his money. Obviously, I paid. I think we found a good deal for it, because I mean, selling abroad is always a little bit difficult.
Yeah,
and
where was he from?
He was from Denmark as well. It was a Danish farm,
yeah.
and so I paid a lot of money also to get 20 more. And so they are going to be my spearmen. Some awesome models made by the Period
They look
twins.
really cool, actually.
They're very, I think, like an infusion between like Agincourt and
Renaissance.
Yeah. They've got plate armor on them, which is basically their thing.
Yeah.
And pikes.
Yeah.
And then I got some Braganzas Besiegers, the old crossbowmen guys.
With the big shields
that
stand in the ground.
Is it called a Pavis?
Pavase?
Pavase? Is that how you pronounce it?
I think it's Pavase.
Yeah. So obviously they're going to be my repeater crossbowmen.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
And I was thinking about making some. I'm going to butcher this now. They were used to call Dark Riders.
I think they're still called Dark Riders.
Shall
we have a look? I don't play Dark Elves. I used to.
Do play Dark Elves, and I do not remember.
Yeah, so I think what Kristoffers going to say is the fast cavalry in the core of the Dread Elves army.
You read my mind.
Is they're going to be the assassins on horses.
Exactly. So I'm going to kit bash the Glade Riders.
Yeah.
With some more Corsair parts.
Yeah.
Basically the repeater crossbows.
Yeah.
And then paint them up in a bright fashion, and that looks really, really well for fast cavalry. And I'm looking, haven't been able to acquire any yet, but I'm looking for Voland's Venatos, which is also an old Dogs of War cavalry regiment.
Which ones are they?
Well, they look exactly like Empire Knights, but they've got those plate armor helmets, which there's some of them in the new Empire Greatsword set. It's like a flat helmet that leaves your chin bare.
Okay, yeah.
And then it's like completely flat and rounded.
There's some of those in the Empire Knight sets anyway.
Not like that, no.
Okay, they're a bit different.
Because they've got no plume on the top of the helmet.
Okay.
They're like completely flat.
Okay, I think I know what you mean.
Yeah, they look really cool.
So they're going to be your Cold One Knights?
Yeah, if I wanted to use them, yeah. But I'm not really sold on cavalry at the moment, so I'm not really in a hurry to find those.
So what other units? What other units are you going to kind of kit bash or swap over? What about bolt throwers?
Bolt throwers I've made from Warlord Games. They have a Scorpion set.
Okay.
Where you get 3 Scorpions, and then I kit bash the crew from this Scorpion set with some what are they called? Men at Arms from Kingdom of Aquitaine. Yeah. Like swapped arms and hands around. I actually painted one of them. I can show you.
Kristoffers just going to go and get it now. Some of these models are really, really nice. Kristoffers probably one of the best painters in our gaming group, and just the blending and stuff that he's done on these is just crazy, crazy good. I've not actually seen these ones yet, but he's going to show me now.
This is just one of the crew members.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
So it fits the theme. He's like got the red and then more brownish, and he looks a little bit like sturdy, but I think he does the part quite well.
Yeah, he looks really cool. And he's holding like a big bag of arrows. It's quite nice actually. Yeah, it's really good.
So those are going to be my bolt throwers, and so obviously keeping in line with the assassins versus the papal guards and whatnot, we need to have some more assassins in there.
Yeah.
And enter the executioners.
Yeah.
I managed to get a hold on 14 of the old models.
So good.
Best models ever made in fantasy.
Probably the best Games Workshop models that have ever been made. The 6th edition Executioner models.
Yeah. They're amazing. I don't think there's any models on the market that rivals them.
These models, actually the models that got me into Warhammer in the first place. I saw them in a magazine. I remember they were £4 for 3. That's 40 krona for 3.
Steal
back then, back in.
Should have invested.
Yeah, I should have bought them all then and sold them now and made loads of money. But yeah, they're really nice models. So they're going to be your assassin heavy infantry guys.
Yeah, I decided that I wanted to paint them in the same colours as the rest of the assassins but they've got some more gold on them than the rest of the assassins. So they've got a little bit more gold, but then the red, the white, and the bright metal as well.
Yeah.
And I got 14 of these guys. They're all painted up now.
Okay.
All finished. I just need to do some freehand on the banner.
Okay, cool.
Looking
forward to that.
It's going to be cool. And then I've got an old what is she called? It's a 40k model.
Sisters of Battle or something?
Yeah, it's an old Sisters of Battle model. I've
never played 40k, so
Saint Celestine is what she's called.
Something, yeah.
And I'm going to. She's on a round base now, and I spent a lot of time painting this model. I don't know if you've actually seen this one before.
I've never seen it before. No. It's really, really good. It's in the same style. Like it's quite cartoony as well.
Yeah.
It's really cool. And what are you going to use this as?
I was thinking to use it either as a Medusa.
Okay.
Because it fits brilliantly with a 40mm base.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to use it as a character on a Pegasus.
Yeah. So it's like it's on a 40mm right now, and it's like an armored figure with a sword, and it's kind of it's flying. It's been held up by a couple of mini angel things. Mm-hmm. So it's obviously like a flying model or some kind of magical model. So yeah, it could be really good for a Medusa or a Pegasus character.
Yeah, I think I spent
the
12 hours painting this one.
The kind of the back banner, I want to say, looks really good. Yeah, it's fantastic. Just the shading and I guess you haven't used any kind of washes. It's just complete highlights. It looks really, really good.
I remember the armor was actually built up from scorched brown into gold.
Wow.
So it's got this really depth in it.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. It must have taken, you say 12 hours? It would take me a lot longer.
Something like that.
So what about the other units? Like how are you gonna get witch elves into the Assassin's army?
So fortunately, there's a French company. I've mentioned them before. They're called Raging Heroes, and they make some excellent miniatures. They are expensive, no denying that. And they mostly, I think, with one or two or three exceptions, they make only female models. But they are made for specifically 28mm heroic scale miniature games, and I think they're brilliant. And well, the thing is, there's some parts of the Assassin's Creed game where they've got this people called the Others, like the architects, the one that came before, the one that basically designed the world.
Okay.
And so, like, the story is that the Apple of Eden is actually one of their creator artifacts. Mm-hmm. And so I was thinking of maybe like twisting it into like infusing that into my witch elves.
Okay.
So having them like part ethereal, part there.
Okay, yeah.
And so the thing about Assassin's Creed is
a little bit like ghosts or something.
Yeah, but not because I don't want to like go down Easy Street and just
paint them like ghosts.
Prime white and then like wash with green and like this is my army painted in the weekend. Not even that. No, so I want to like make like parts of the model be like so one leg and then like goes into like this ethereal mode. So like look.
Half ghost, half.
Yeah, exactly. But in a chaotic kind of way.
Okay, you should have like a big apple as their standard.
I've got my other character.
Yeah.
She's from another alternative game.
You gotta remember all these. You must spend so much time looking at all these different websites.
I know most of the Pope one.
The Pope, I know it took a long time.
Yeah, it took a long time because most miniature war games they really try to stay clear of religion for obvious reasons. Yeah. And so it was very difficult to find these models, but I managed to find them in the end. I've got a lot of stuff I want to paint.
Yeah.
It's called like something miniatures.
That's a really good descriptive title. Though.
I know.
We'll find
Bootlegger miniatures, freebooter miniatures.
You're looking at me like I know it.
I think they're called freebooter miniatures or something.
Okay, so you got a character from a games company.
Yeah. And she's like Aztec, and she's gonna be my oracle.
Okay.
And I was thinking of like making an apple of Eden for her as well.
Okay, that shouldn't be too difficult. I think you maybe even find some apples in the Equitane bits box.
Yeah, I might.
They have some fruit in there, I think.
There is? Are there?
Yeah, they have like little fruits and rabbits and stuff, don't they?
They do.
Yeah.
They do. Well, then I guess this kind of leads us on to my next project. My next purchase has been from Raging Heroes also. They've had a Kickstarter called Darkness and Light, I think. Okay. It's like the most awesome title ever.
Darkness and Light.
And it's basically Dark Elves, or Dread Elves, and Angels.
Okay, cool.
And, or like a very Kingdom of Equitane-esque with more religion fused into it. And Catholicism, obviously. And one thing that I've been waiting for ages was for some people to actually make some angel models that you can use in your games. And fortunately, Raging Heroes has made some female angel versions. And the models look absolutely... I haven't gotten them yet. I'm still waiting for my order to fulfill.
Do they send you them straight away, or do you have to wait for like the goal to be reached or something?
I think that they've already... It's like first come, first serve when you order, and I may not have dropped 2,500 pound, no, 2,000... A lot of money.
500 krona?
Yeah.
250 pounds?
Yeah. No, more than that now.
Yeah, more than that now. No, less than that now. Wait, is it English company?
No, it's French.
Then more than that now.
Yeah. So it's expensive.
Hashtag Brexit.
Yeah. I did get a lot of stuff though. I got them at a discount because I'm a backer of the Kickstarter. Profit.
Yeah.
There are some insanely amazing models in there. I think the most ordered one has been the one that I am looking forward to painting far more than any other model in the world I've ever.
Which one's that?
It's basically like a giant angel. It's like a character angel.
Yeah.
It's looks like it's like it goes in a 40mm base.
And you're going to use this for both your Echotain army and your Dread Elves army?
Probably. It's going to be like the best models I've ever. I'm looking so much. They're awesome and they're really high fantasy. If any of you play Magic the Gathering, like if you imagine like Avacyn, the artwork from the card Avacyn, Angel of Hope.
Magic.
A lot of Magic cards have got some really brilliant artwork for angels. And finally, we get the angel miniatures in a Warhammer setting where you can actually use them.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to make an army for my Bretonian army. Based on, I'm going to use them as Pegasus Knights for the lack of better.
Yeah.
And they look like they will fit very nicely in 40mm bases, not being too small or too big.
Yeah, and they'll rank up okay, I guess.
And they'll rank up good and all that. And I think it makes sense, like in a King of Aquitaine army. I'm not really ashamed of doing that. Like, what else would they be in that army?
I think I've seen people use like the new Age of Sigmar guys with the wings as wing reapers, and I've seen different things like that as like Pegasus Knights, or it's quite common that you see like a conversion that's like a flying character that's some kind of flying monster or something like that. And
that's really the brilliant thing about Ninth Age, isn't it? That you can really use whatever miniatures you have. Yeah.
So what about the is it Raging Heroes?
Yeah, it's called Raging Heroes.
What about the Raging Heroes Dark Elves? What about?
They're basically making a complete Dread Elves army.
Okay, is it supported by the Ninth Age or supporting the Ninth Age?
No, because I'm pretty sure that they began developing this project far before that Games Workshop actually discontinued the whole 8th edition setting and whatnot, and so they really just decided that a lot of the feel of the Dark Elves was gone from the Perry miniatures, the way they designed it with the 6th edition, especially the Executioners and the Tower Guards, and they wanted to return to that, but they specialize in making like female models, and as such they only have like female models. Yeah. So
you said about the Witch Elves.
Yeah, the Witch Elves are female. The Black Guard. So if you want to make like an all-female army, you can do that with Raging Heroes.
That's cool.
Like pin-up girls, or they've got. Like it used to be more it's more toned down now. With the latest Kickstarter, it's not as much boobs and bear and whatnot. It's more subtle now, but still really, really cool. I mean, the angels look amazing.
My Mercia Miniatures stag has a penis and testicles. I love it. It's really small though. It's like a little pecker.
It's not good, isn't it? I'm really trying. I'm working hard here in the background to try to find some of these pictures to show, and maybe to link to you guys.
I think we actually linked them in a previous show, the angel models, but not the Dark Elf ones.
No. Well, the Dark Elf models are really cool also, but I'm like super hyped for the angels. Like they also made some really good Knights Forlorn models. Yeah. If you're looking for that. Like with proper Crusader helmets and great weapons, and they just look awesome, plain awesome.
And what about your altar? What are you going to use for your altar? Are you going to use
not this one, but look at this one. This is their altar.
I want that for my vampires
It
straight away.
is so big.
Yeah.
Look at this is these are 28mm
Wow.
heroic witch elves.
You should seriously look at these. It's like the toughest girls of the galaxy, darkness and light, altar of the
Succubi.
Scooby. It definitely says Scooby.
No, it's a SUCC.
Oh, is it you?
Yeah.
It's Scooby.
Succubi.
Scooby snacks.
No. It's like succubus. It's like
I'm being silly.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, yeah, it's really cool.
I did not get that.
The Scooby Snacks altar. Yeah, some of these models are really nice. You should definitely check it out, ragingheroes.com.
Yeah. Take a break.
Yeah, let's take a
Great introduction.
And we're back. Apple bring us in.
Yes.
So yeah, Christopher just been showing me. We got kind of a bit distracted, I think, looking at the pictures.
Absolutely.
And oh my god, seriously, like I mean, before Christopher was like, he showed me a few pictures. I was like, these are quite good models. But I just had a quick overview of all of the Raging Heroes models, and oh my god, it makes me want to do like an all-female like Lust Elf army.
Yeah.
Like
the big like keeper of secrets.
yeah, there's like a big. I mean, you call it like a greater demon of lust in today's terms, but oh my god,
it's big.
It's big and it looks amazing. I don't know if you'd fit it on the right size base. You probably want a big base for it.
Yeah, but it's resin, so it's not that heavy.
Yeah, it's not too heavy. But yeah, some of those models are really, really good. I mean, I thought that the Boob Snake from Games Workshop, the old Boob Snake model, was probably one of the best models that they ever made. But Raging Heroes make a similar one, and it's
just better.
It's got like sexy chicks on the back, and it's even better. Yeah,
the harpies.
The harpies, the poses, and the detail is insane. Oh my god. So yeah, go check the Raging Heroes out. We've given them enough dick sucking tonight, so we're going to talk about something else.
Take your money, light it on fire, because you will lose it to this.
yeah, it makes me want to do a Dread Elves army right away. Okay, so next topic is going to be my hobby. You've all heard about me going on about the vampire counts and about Polly the Varkalak and about...
You sculpted that thing more or less from bottom up.
Yeah.
It's really impressive.
Scratch built. Yeah, I'm quickly going to take you through my Vampire Counts project at the moment. It's such a fluff project. I'm such a hobby gamer. It's so cool.
Hobby hero
for sure. Basically, it's a Vampire Covenant army themed around the old Games Workshop fluff, which is a bit... I don't know if that's allowed anymore, but we can wait for the new Night Phage.
Burn you at the stake for it?
Yeah, you can burn me like a vampire. So yeah, it's basically like there's an old story about Manfred von Karlstein, Vlad von Karlstein. He was the first one, and he kind of came to Sylvania. I think he was a human. He came to Sylvania, and then he like married the Countess of Sylvania, probably Isabella. That's how the story goes. And then at some point in this time, he got turned to a vampire. Or maybe he was a vampire before. I don't think we know. Or maybe...
No one knows for sure.
Yeah, no one knows for
Shrouded in mystery.
Exactly. In the annals of time.
It's all lost.
Yeah, so, and then what happens is, Isabella is the heir to Sylvania. And so he's like, marries her, and he marries into the family. And so he kind of kills off all the other people who could claim the throne, and claims it for himself. And there's I think there's a pretty deep story about it in the old Games Workshop fluff. But it turns out he's a vampire,
right?
And he slowly corrupts Sylvania.
Yeah.
Like he kind of starts like feeding on people, and people like start to hear like, oh, there's like zombies walking around and the dead are rising. And
it's like Musillion, like in the old Plutonian
stuff.
Exactly. It's like in between.
Yeah.
Becoming like a full-blown vampire state, and then still a human state.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the kind of what my army's themed around.
Okay.
So my army is what I wanted to do. I want it to be able to be an Empire of Sonstal army and also a Vampire Coven army.
Yeah.
I'm not really interested in Empire of Sonstal, but it's nice.
You never know.
Yeah, it's nice that they can
insurance policy.
Yeah, exactly. I can play two armies, and yeah, so it kind of it works out that way.
Yeah.
But the idea is that it's a Vampire Covenant army with models that look like they're actually...
And they really look like Empire models. You could do that and not be ashamed of yourself, obviously.
Yeah.
It's not like I haven't seen like a lot of Vampire Counts players, you've got like, this is my zombie. It is a tombstone on 6 20mm bases.
With a hand.
With a hand. And you've got none of that. You've got real state troops with head swaps and all the livery and the flags and the equipment of state troops and whatnot. So you can definitely do that now. Like Henry is the Michelangelo of our game, like creating stuff and like sculpting and like converting and altering. I remember the old Master of the Canaric Tower.
Yeah, we did an episode about that.
Yeah, when you converted it, I painted it.
Yeah, it was nice. That was one of my favourite ones actually.
Yeah, it looked really good. Like turned the sword upside down and the ball in, like crystal ball in the hand.
Yeah, it's cool. You should check it out. Episode 4, I think.
Throwback.
Yeah, throwback. Old school Hammer.
Old school
Hammer time.
There are some pictures there also.
So, and the final part of the fluff is that Vlad von Karlstein, because he's kind of corrupted Sylvania, and after a few years, and the Empire, like, they don't really believe that the dead's rising, and like, there's all these stories, but they just are.
I would be skeptic. As well.
It's just legend, but they don't really believe it.
Yeah.
But I think it's Kurt Helleborg or some kind of like master of the White Wolf. I can't remember what his name is.
Or the Theodoric, maybe.
Yeah, maybe the Grand Thengist or some.
Oh yeah.
So maybe Volkmar.
Yeah, maybe like the Grand Theogonist. Is that what they're called?
Yeah,
like,
it's some kind of like Empire dude.
Yeah.
There's a fly. It's like
it's a very small moth, and it's very
distracting. -1 to hit.
Yeah, that is distracting. That's one. Like talking about vampires.
-1 weapon skill. Yeah. So the final bit of the fluff is that this kind of character from Middenheim in the Empire is kind of like he's heard too many rumors, and now there's like an army that's going to go into Sylvania and
sort it all out.
And obviously he's a wily chap, and he knows it's coming, and so he ambushes them on the Old Forest Road, and there's a battle called the Battle of the Old Forest Road. Right. And so my army is themed around this battle.
Okay.
So I have a lot of conversions in the army, as we'll get into, and they all kind of involve the army from Middenheim, as well as my kind of army of Sylvania.
Yeah.
So, to start,
right
now we've set the scene. We have had the vampire, and to make him look like a young vampire and not quite turned yet, I've used the elf heads.
Yeah, so he doesn't look as beastly. Like,
no, he's kind of like a good-looking chap, you know.
He's still like a Twilight vampire.
Yeah, exactly. He hasn't quite got shiny skin, but he's got a nice chiseled, shaped his face. So
he's like in the good phase of being a vampire, where everything's nice, you get plenty of food, and you're not like completely 2 meters tall and basically
wings growing out your back. Yeah, exactly. So I've used the Sky Cutter elf heads.
Oh yeah,
from Games Workshop, and I've used the Empire General kit.
Right.
And I basically made a vampire on foot and a vampire on a horse.
Yeah. Is it the same model? Like, have you made them the same? So
yeah,
it's the same person?
Yeah, they look exactly the same. So it's the same head.
Okay.
I think maybe the hair is just the other side or something like that.
Yeah.
And they have almost the same sword and the same armor.
Right.
And I've like green stuffed the armor to make it look kind of more baroque, because it's set in the time before gunpowder.
Right.
So there's going to be no gunpowder in the army. So there's not going to be any handguns, and there's not going to be any steam tanks, and there's not going to be any cannons.
I've noticed 1 or 2 zombies like looking fondly at a crossbow they used to be able to use.
Yeah, exactly. But we'll get to that.
Spoiler.
Yeah, spoiler.
Sorry.
So I've like made the armor look a little bit more old, and I put some like bat wings on the armor and things like that. And I made shields with like skulls with bat wings to kind of fit the theme of the army. And it's all painted like purple, red, and black, which are the Sylvania colours. Like and obviously it's like a little bit like an Empire colour scheme, but a bit more darker.
Yeah, it's like in a way it's more toned down.
Yeah, I've tried to make it look like it's a kind of a nighttime.
Yeah, I think you've achieved that.
Yeah. So like I've done a lot of dark washes and things like that.
Yeah, and not a lot of reflections either.
Yeah.
It looks like it definitely, thinking about it, definitely looks like something like moving in moonlight.
Yeah, that's
like
kind
of that special. Like all colours become slightly more dark and less bright, because there's not a lot of light to reflect.
Yeah, there's no bright colours, and all the metal's been washed with black.
Yeah.
And so that's the kind of the vampire, and then the other characters are going to be Empire characters,
right?
But slightly altered. So my battle wizards all my necromancers
Quote, unquote.
is actually from the Battle Wizard Empire kit.
Oh, yeah.
And I just use like the Death one and the Shadow one basically to make it look like they could be both Battle Wizards and necromancers.
Yeah.
And kind of the crux of the whole army is the Witch Hunters / Wraiths. So I got 2 models from Avatars of War.
Yeah.
It's like a High Inquisitor model.
Right.
And he has 2 handguns, but I've converted them to crossbows because there's no gunpowder.
Yeah.
And
like
so
silver stake crossbows things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's kind of ironic because these characters are going to be wraiths.
Right.
So if you look at it from the point of view of the witch hunter, they're going to be there in the army and they actually think that they're still alive.
Okay.
And they're walking around with all the Empire troops, but some of them look a bit weird, but they haven't quite worked out why.
It's like, Benny, are you ill today? You seem to be losing half your head.
Yeah. But they're kind of focused on the battle, so they don't think about it. And then at some point, they're going to like wave their hand in front of their face and realise that it's...
Oh, I am a ghost.
Yeah, I'm a ghost. So the witch hunters are going to be ghosts.
All right. But you don't think they would be like confused if they like saw a vampire?
Yeah, well, the thing is that all the models, they look like they could be human.
Right, okay.
A little bit.
So they just believe they're human.
Yeah, and maybe there's a spell or something that's kind of...
Okay.
They're a little bit there, but they don't quite understand.
Right.
Because obviously Vlad, he's going to steal some of their souls when he kills them and whatever.
Clearly.
So
Always good to have a soul or two.
yeah, and I have a mounted wraith as well, which is like a pistolier model.
Okay.
And the pistolier model is like his head falling off.
Right.
So he's going to be like he's a ghost, but imagine nearly headless Nick from Harry Potter.
Yeah,
where his head's kind of like hanging on by a thread, and he's galloping around, and his head's like
always falling off to the side.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And he's got I've given him a scythe.
Yeah.
And then from the Coven Throne model, there's like kind of like the ectoplasm bits, the kind of like misty things.
Yeah.
And they're going to be attached to like his back.
Okay.
So he's like a ghost, and it looks like he's moving forwards, and he's like riding with the kind of the trail of
like the animation.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the animation from Warhammer Total War, where the spectral they've got like this fog coming out
like the fog,
kind
of like the fog following them.
Yeah,
so all my ghost models are going to have like the fog, and I just have some banshee models because they're kind of humanoid anyway.
Yeah.
So they're just
they're cool.
banshees.
The banishment models, banshee models from Games Workshop.
So I just took the ones from the Coven Throne actually, and I put them on a flying stand on a 20mm base.
So do you have any like live humans in your army that are?
Yes, I do have some live humans in my army.
Okay.
So my zombies, half of them are going to be made up of the Sylvanian levy.
Yeah.
So they're like the cattle that the vampires feed on, and then they're just like dead. But then they get risen when exactly. And they're going to be in like the colours of Sylvania because they're like the local peasants. And then there's also some humans that have been killed already in the battle and risen again as zombies.
Okay.
So they're going to be in the colour of Middenheim, which is blue and white, which contrasts really well with the black and purple.
So it's going to be like a shambling horde.
Exactly. Yeah. And so these are basically just going to be soldiers, but like with their arms that have been hacked off, and they have battle wounds where they've been killed, and they're going to have like knives in them and like spears through their faces and stuff, like
what you would expect from zombies.
Yeah, exactly. Like walking along in the same units as the Sylvanian.
Yeah, like so mixed together.
Yeah, mixed together with them. So it's like they've actually been risen from the corpses on the battlefield.
Yeah. Okay, but no live humans, no conscious humans.
No.
Okay.
I was thinking about making the witch hunters like conscious.
Yeah.
But I think I actually need the wraith characters. So
my favorite quote concerning the vampire counts from the fluff was, I believe it was a Manfred von Karlstein quote, and he said, "You can, what is it? You can serve me in life, or slave for me in death. It matters little to me."
That's a good one.
That's a really good one.
Did you get that one from Warhammer Total War?
I think it's in what? Yeah, it is.
Probably
in
on the loading screen or something.
Yeah, it is. But I actually knew it from before because it was my good old friend Benjamin, who also had a vampire count army. Yeah. He always used to like when he was raising new units or something. Like,
serve me in life,
or slave for me in death. Yeah. I don't care. You get to choose. I'm a merciful god.
Yeah. So then so that's my zombie units, and they're also obviously gonna kind of I want the Empire soldiers who have been risen. They're all gonna have halberds, so they're gonna kind of double as my halberders if I want to play it with Empire of Sun style.
Sure. Yeah.
And then I have the zombies, the regular zombies, which are just going to be like free companies because they just have like some of them have pitchforks and some have like I want to make like a butcher zombie which is wearing like a butcher's apron and has a meat cleaver.
Obviously.
So he's the local butcher.
Yeah.
And then he's going to be the free company champion.
Sure.
When it gets down to it.
Sounds cool.
Yeah.
Sounds cool. I think more or less every model in your army is converted.
Every single model is converted. Yeah. Actually, we'll get to that, but some of them aren't, but 90% are.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
All right.
And then the next unit is the skeleton, just the regular skeletons.
Oh, didn't they have a name, the regiment?
The Crimson Fangs.
Crimson Fangs.
The Crimson Fangs. So the Crimson Fangs are my skeleton swordsmen. So they're just the hand weapon shield skeletons, and they're basically made from the state militia kit.
Yeah.
And what I did is I swapped all the heads for skeleton heads and green stuffed in the necks to make it like a spine.
Oh yeah.
And then I changed all the hands, so they were carrying swords in the hands, like from the skeleton hands, and I cut the swords off the Empire hands and
put them on the skeleton hands.
So all the hands are different, and then some of them I chopped the legs off and put extra legs in, and some of them have like skeleton torsos. And,
it's a real labour of love.
Yeah, really, really kind of went to town on it. It was really actually quite good fun.
How many models have you made in total by now?
I cheated.
You did?
I have a unit of 40.
Okay.
I have one unit filler, which is 15 men.
15 men.
Yeah.
That's a big unit filler.
Yeah, and one which is 4.
One which is 4 units.
Yeah.
4 models.
So I have 21 single models.
Yeah.
And then I have a 4, which is like a gibbet with a hangman's noose on it.
Oh,
where there's
I remember that one.
Like a body hanging.
Yeah.
And it's dripping blood. And then there's just one skeleton on that. Yeah. And then I have a big one, which is like a graveyard scene, where there's like a fallen statue, and there's a few skeletons walking around, and then there's another skeleton which is like sticking its sword in a guy, like a dead Middenheimer guy who's like laying on the floor, like bleeding. Yeah, it's quite a nice conversion actually. And the skeleton's like laughing. Like,
I would be too. Like, I just won this.
Yeah.
And you're going to be my friend in a moment.
Yeah, he's going to get risen with into the Zombros.
So, if you don't mind me asking, how do you feel like you're going to play this army? Are you going to play... Because Vampire Counts, I mean, it's an army that doesn't shoot. And it doesn't have... You could the shrieks and whatnot. Do you want to go heavy in on that, or are you just going to...
I'm pretty much just going to make a little bit of everything, and I'm not really been... I have been a bit competitive with it, but it's more of like a fun army to play.
Yeah.
It's not like a dick puncher.
No, but maybe like... how many skeletons are you making? Like,
well, I've made 40, and then I was thinking about maybe making... Instead of the halberdier unit, I make a unit of skeleton halberdiers as well.
Yeah.
But because I haven't actually made the Empire halberdiers / zombies yet.
Right.
But I don't know. Maybe I'll make half and half.
Just mix it all together.
Yeah, mix it up. Like the risen zombie halberdiers are going to be the skeleton halberdiers or something.
Oh,
I don't
yeah,
know.
Yeah.
We'll work it out. I haven't got that far yet.
Many options.
But I've been collecting halberds. So accumulating halberds. I think we've got about 15 right now.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll see. Like Christopher hinted at earlier, we have some zombie crossbowmen, which are just like zombies like dragging crossbows around, and they don't really know how to fire them. So none of them are actually. Oh, some of them are firing, but they haven't got any arrows.
No,
they're just pretending. And have one zombie which is like a unit filler that's like dragging its crossbow through the dirt, and it's like can't drag it, and it's a bit stuck.
I hate it when it happens.
So these are going
out there looking for brains, getting your
crossbow
stuck
in the mud. Yeah, so this zombie unit is going to be like one which I raise up with the vampires, or it will double up as crossbowmen for the Empire.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Or light infantry, as they're now called. The direwolves are just direwolves. I don't really think you can.
It's not
justify
really much
that.
Point of doing anything to them, really, in the sense that the models are quite cool as they are.
Yeah, I've used the old goblin wolves.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, with the vampire. Yeah, your theme is like with the what is the new bloodline called in the
von Karlstein.
Karlstein?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so it's like that. It's like really no kind of a clean look
Yeah,
but at the same time,
dark.
yeah,
Yeah, so the wolves are pretty just like black wolves.
yeah.
But I think the kind of the fluff is like they're just the animals in the woods. They're
In the
just
forest. Like wolves will and would be pretty fucking scary.
just attacking people.
Yeah.
And I've done a few conversions. There's like a wolf which is like on a double sized base, and it's like circling a gravestone where there's like a guy that's like hiding behind a gravestone, and he's dropped his sword and he's like reaching for his sword,
Sniffing him out.
and the wolf is like circling him to come and eat him. And then I have another unit filler which is a double base again, and there's two wolves like chewing on a corpse, like an Empire guy that's been killed.
You've got a lot of these mini stories going on.
Yeah, but that's like it's like kind of the
Every unit is telling a story, like something going on with
Yeah.
each model is kind of human in that way, which is ironic because they're dead.
Yeah, I think actually my favourite unit filler that I've made so far is a zombie unit filler. It's like a 4-base unit filler, and there's like an Empire champion, and he's like stabbing a zombie through the chest, and the zombie doesn't care, and he's just like reaching and grabbing his shirt and like trying to get him, and then the Empire guy has like like a repulsive look, and he's like leaning back even though he's stabbing the zombie, and then there's actually like another zombie coming out the ground and grabbing his leg.
God, horrible way to go.
Yeah.
Death by 1,000
I
bites.
think actually that's probably one of my best ever conversions.
Oh yeah.
Because somehow I've got like the look,
The dynamic and
the pose
Yeah.
is just right.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm really happy with that one.
it is good looking.
I have some bat swarms, and these are obviously again themed around the battle. So I have like the bat swarms like chasing an Empire guy, and they're really happy bats.
Oh yeah, the old ones from the
Warhammer Quest.
Snotlings
Warhammer
and-
Quest.
From Warhammer Quest.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they're from Warhammer Quest.
I think there was a kit once where you got some bat swarms,
Yeah.
some spider swarms,
Yeah, you get a
and
bat,
some snotlings.
a bat, a spider, and a snotling.
Yeah.
And I have like 30 of these.
Oh wow.
I've been collecting them off eBay. They're really expensive, but they're fun. And Rasmus gave me some as well. And so I have a few bats which are like chasing a human, and he's like running away with his hands in the air, like ah! And then another one which is like he's getting swarmed by bats. He's got like bats all over him, and he's like fighting them off.
Yeah.
There's like 3 or 4 bats just like stuck to him. And and they're really happy, like come on, come on, Hughie.
They've got this like big grins.
Yeah, they have like really smiley faces. It's so funny. That's the core. I'm pretty sure. I think that's covered the core. Yeah. So then in my special, I have the obviously the Drakenhof Guard, pretty iconic unit in the fluff. Is like the guard of the Drakenhof Castle, which is like Vlad von Karlstein's personal castle. So they obviously have like the Drakenhof banner, which says like Drakenhof Guard on it, and there's like a picture of Drakenhof
Yeah,
with
you
like
did
a
some really nice freehand on that.
yeah,
one.
I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
And it has like a dark elf skull figure, like I don't know what you call it, like the banner top,
Oh yeah.
like a red emblem skull thing on the top, which looks quite cool. And these guys they're not these are actually one of the only units I haven't really converted. They're just the Empire Greatsword models from Games Workshop. Actually, I converted the champion. He has I've converted him to have like a mustache. This is like a big mustache.
Oh, what do you call that in English? In Danish, it's called the handlebar.
Yeah, we say handlebar as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so he's got like a handlebar mustache, and these guys are painted. They're not like they're kind of in the middle of being dead and alive. So they're kind of obviously the whites.
Mm.
So they kind of have like really pallid skin color.
Mm.
So for all intents and purposes, they're painted like an Empire Greatsword,
Yeah.
just with the dark colors, and then the skin is just like white ghostly skin.
Yeah.
So they're kind of like. And my fluff idea is that they're the Drakenhof Guard, like the original loyal Drakenhof Guard,
Yeah.
that have been like Vlad's cast a spell on them, and they've turned undead, or they've just like lost their souls.
Yeah, like consciousness.
Yeah,
and whatnot.
yeah, they've lost their consciousness, and they just stubbornly stand there
Yeah.
and fight until like the last man.
Yeah.
So they could be. I think they works quite well with the Imperial Guard and the
Great
the
Guard.
Barrow Guard.
Barrow Guard. Great
Barrow Guard.
Barrow Guard.
Yeah,
Yeah. Shame you have to make 40 of them.
I've made 30.
You've made 30 already?
30 with a couple of unit fillers.
Yeah, I was trying to tease you then. Go big or go home with the Barrow
Yeah,
Guard.
I think I do need another 10, but I think I'm just going to cheat and make some big unit fillers. I only need 10.
You could.
Yeah. So I have one of my unit fillers is like a Barrow Guard like slicing through Empire soldier.
Oh yeah.
He like hits him in his neck, and he's on his knees because he's obviously been downed onto his knees by the force of the blow, and the sword's like cut through him to just above his waist. So obviously the Barragard's like, and he's got like blood all coming out, and it's all over the floor.
Brutal.
Yeah, and he's like his face is quite like
as you would imagine.
Yeah, it's pretty gruesome conversion that one.
What a way to go.
Yeah, it's like slicing the guy in half. It's quite good.
Well, I don't even want to imagine how long you're conscious for. Like if that happened to you,
Yeah.
like you get hit by a big sword.
Probably longer than you realise.
Oh.
And so and similar to that, I have the Drakenhof Templars. That's also another unit from the fluff. And the Drakenhof Templars were like the knights who carried Vlad von Karlstein's personal banner. And so these are obviously the Empire knights with a bit of a tweak.
Mm-hmm.
So I've actually converted some of the armour to make it look more baroque. Like put some kind of filigree on the sides to make it look like bat wings, and I've added like skulls instead of plumes to the helmets.
Yeah.
Because the Empire Knights come with like these big plumes, and
Yeah,
I've put like skulls on the top and spikes and
Yeah.
make it look a bit darker.
So they are a little evilish.
Yeah, they're like basically like Empire Knights, but they're evil.
Yeah.
And they're going to be painted in the same way as the Barragard, so
Are they going
pallid
to
skin.
be the
Baron Knights.
Baron Knights?
And also Vampire Knights.
Also Vampire
So,
Knights.
I don't think I'm ever going to have a list where I have Baron Knights and Vampire Knights. I'm probably going to have one or the other. And I've made 12 so far, so maybe I just need to buy another box of them.
No, maybe it's fine.
Yeah, we'll see. I've made enough that I have enough for the Baron Knights.
For the Baron Knight bus.
Yeah, for the bus. And
Choo choo!
I have a couple of conversions for these, like
Right.
special Empire conversions. The champion model, he has like a tall a tall thin gravestone, like standing stone on his base, just on the corner, and it looks like and there's also like a dead Empire guy laying like he's lost his head, and he's lying on the floor, and his head's like rolled off, and there's like a big blood splatter up the side of the grave, like up the side of the stone, where like the swords come off and like chops his head off, and the blood splatters like up all up the stone. So and it's like kind of washed down and followed his head to where it's rested.
You have this deep, dark fascination with blood splatter. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
maybe I watched too much Dexter.
probably.
And then there's another one which is like a double cavalry base, and there's like an Empire militia guy, and he's been stabbed through a lance, it's like run through with a lance, and it's like sticking in him, and the lance is like snapped off,
Oh yeah.
and then the rider's like carried on riding with the lance.
Okay.
So that's like a double-sized base.
Is it? So is that okay? Yeah. So he's like on the side.
Yeah, there's like the horse is on like a normal base, and then
Yeah.
there's like another cavalry base stuck
Next to
onto
where the guy
the side
is.
where he's kind of like in mid stumble.
Yeah.
And then the character, the Lancer has just carried on going. The Templar.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Deaths all around us. I mean, life as an infantryman in the Empire has always been.
Yeah,
It's always
especially
been a hazard-
especially when
hazardous
you're in
job.
the battle of the Old Forest Road.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I haven't actually got that many more units in my army.
Got the Varkalak.
Yeah, I have the Varkalak. Now, the Varkalak has a story. The Varkalak, Polly the Varkalak. So, Polly was once a young fair maiden in the village of somewhere in Sylvania, and one night said Vlad von Karlstein was passing through the village.
Hello.
And he wanted to stay the night
Obviously.
because he wanted to stay in the morning because he's a vampire.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So he
It was like 5 a.m. in the morning. Go.
shit.
Can I have a nap here, please?
I am your liege lord. I will stay in this place, and so someone let him in, or maybe we were forced to let him in, and it just so happens that this is the house where Polly lives.
Yeah.
And Polly is a pretty young girl, and she's forced to wait on Vlad, and Vlad takes a liking to her. So
But not in the liking that one man would take to a girl, more than a very hungry man would take to a very delicious looking
I
piece
think
of ham.
you're missing the story
Oh,
here.
God.
There's a twist.
There's a twist.
Because Vlad likes this Polly girl, so
Yes.
he doesn't actually turn her into a vampire.
No.
What he does is he fucks her
Oh God.
and leaves.
Right. As men do.
Yeah, as men do in the night.
Does she sneak out or does she just like walk out?
He turns into a cloud of bats and just out the window.
You know, that would really be a skill to have.
I'm coming up.
Yeah.
Flap, 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 flap.
That would give the ladies something to talk about.
And anyway, he gets back to Drakenhof, where Isabella's waiting for him.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah, God, there's another woman in this story.
and,
Right.
and she sees the look in his eyes, and she's like, "What's he been up to?" She doesn't quite trust him.
No, really, no.
And so Vlad, obviously, this pretty young Polly chick, she's pretty good in the sack because she's been around in the village.
Right.
She knows what she's doing.
She knows stuff. Yeah.
Isabella, she's only been with one man her whole life, or one vampire her whole life. And so Vlad, he keeps going to see Polly every now and again, and Isabella cottons onto this, and she's like, "Nah, not having this."
No.
So one day, she follows Vlad, and she finds out where Polly lives.
God.
And then when Vlad leaves, Isabella goes in, and she gets Polly and bites her.
Right. So that will turn her into a vampire.
That will turn into a vampire, but in my version of the vampire, you have to feed
Yeah.
to kind of stay
normal.
in a normal form, right?
Right.
So what Isabella does is she takes her away, and she puts it in a cave under Drakenhof Castle,
Oh, and leaves her
and
there.
leaves her there. She chains her up,
Yeah.
and Polly, obviously, she can't feed on humans. So what does she feed on? She feeds on like rats and bats, yeah, and all the shit that lives in the
dungeon.
in the dungeon under Drakenhof Castle. Probably a zombie or two.
And what's Vlad's opinion on this? Because this is obviously his
Well,
mistress.
Vlad can't really do shit because
What you do, you do what you have to do to save the marriage. Right?
exactly.
Yeah.
So he denies it all, and she's
deny.
yeah. So and Isabella's like pretending that she doesn't know what's happened.
And so she's like brutalizing Polly.
Yeah, and slowly Polly is turning into this like
Oh.
huge crazy monster. Yeah. And eventually she becomes Polly the Varkalak
God,
after a few hundred years of feasting on rats and
nothing else.
nothing else. So she becomes this feral monster that has this rage that sometimes Isabella lets out when she wants to go and kill someone.
Wow.
And then eventually Vlad finds out about this, and he's pretty pissed off with Isabella. But he kind of also sees the good side of it.
Yeah.
He's got like a big old monster that he can just set loose on his enemies.
Yeah.
So
And
Polly-
let's face it, there are other pretty peasant girls around.
yeah, exactly.
It happens.
It happens. So yeah, Vlad's content to let Polly the Varkalak live in the dungeon below Drakenhof Castle,
God.
and he takes her with him every time he goes on a campaign.
On a leash.
Yeah. So that's the story of Polly the Varkalak.
Wow. I suppose that when you spent these many hours actually making this model, you did have the time to make up a story for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a long time to
But
contemplate.
think about this.
So yeah, Polly the Varkalak is made out of...
This could be like This could be like an underworld movie.
Yeah, I actually watched Underworld a lot to kind of get inspiration from this.
Oh, okay. Well, the movies are so.
Yeah, yeah. They're what they are, aren't they?
They are what they are.
So yeah.
They're not many good vampire movies, right?
No, not really.
Unfortunately. That is what it is.
Yeah, Van Helsing's quite good. I looked at that a lot as well.
Yeah, that's where the Inquisitor... He's an Inquisitor.
Yeah,
now.
he's like a witch hunter or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
A good movie.
Mm.
So yeah, that's the story of Polly. Other special units, I have 3 Vargeist, which are a recent addition.
Yeah.
Haven't really got a story for those.
No, they're pretty out of the box, aren't they?
Yeah, no, actually.
No?
No. I actually did a lot of conversion work on them.
Wow.
I pretty much scratch built half of them.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually probably another one of my best ever conversion works.
And that's testament to your skill that I thought that they looked rather out of the box.
Yeah, I guess so. If you think they look out of the box, then...
I remember all the green stuff on them now, but I had forgotten.
Yeah. So Polly the Varkalak is pretty much scratch built from resin, a few some dragon wings. I actually used dragon wings,
Yeah.
but they're resculpted dragon wings. I had to like cut them up and change the shape and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't think maybe the feet, the metal.
Yeah,
feet?
the metal feet are also from the dragon model,
Yeah,
and the
that's it.
yeah, that's it. Everything else is resin.
Hands.
It doesn't have hands. It just has wings.
Oh yeah, it has the wings. Yeah.
Has feet and wings,
Yeah.
and it like walks on its wings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a flightless bird.
Yeah. And I actually used the mouth from the Terrorgeist model,
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
the teeth.
Yeah.
I just put those in. But yeah, that's about it. Everything else is resin.
Yeah.
The
Whole monster.
Yeah, the whole monster. The Vargeist, they're like they actually use some of the Vargeist models to kind of as a base for the resin.
Yeah.
Because I had to have an idea where to build it.
Yeah.
So I used the back part, like like the kind of the mohawk and the back. I used for the Varkalak. So I was missing one of those when I came to make the Vargeist.
Oh yeah.
And I was actually also missing, I think, 2 legs that I used just to hold the model in place when I glued it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I resined over the legs.
Oh.
So I was actually missing 2 legs as well.
Oh.
And I was also missing a head. And I don't know if I used the head as like a base, but it doesn't make sense that I did.
Well, you might have.
I might have just put it in there, just like a...
Didn't you maybe put it in the beginning and it looked silly?
Yeah, it was maybe too small and then I resined on top of it.
Like
but I was
level
missing
100 Pikachu.
Yeah,
If you get that reference,
level 100 Pikachu.
Google level 100 Pikachu.
Yeah, it looked like that. So I was missing a head as well. So basically, I was missing a whole Vargeist.
Yeah.
So what I did is I kind of did a little bit of green stuff on each one.
Oh yeah, like scrap them for parts.
Yeah, exactly. So I had to green stuff 2 legs.
You had to green stuff a head somewhere in between.
I green stuff 2 legs, a head, and a back. and I had like a ruin. So I actually built the ruin into the base.
Yeah.
So the idea of these is that they're like
coming out of a mausoleum.
Coming out of like an old cathedral that's been like tumbled down or something. And so outside the cathedral there's like gravel, and inside there's flagstones.
Oh yeah.
And also, just to tie it into the theme of the army, there's like a little Empire guy, and he's hiding underneath he's on the bottom floor, when the Vargeist is like on the top floor, and he's like kind of sat, hugging his knees, like looking really, really scared.
Or as you would imagine.
As you would imagine you would be if there was a Vargeist like just on top of you. Or vampire spawn, we should probably call them.
Oh yeah, vampire spawn.
Vampire spawn, yeah. So that took a lot of work to repose them and fit them onto the ruins, which are quite big, and also do a lot of green stuff on the models.
It's an imposing unit, I recall.
And they're quite good in the game as well. They've done really well so far.
I think everybody uses them.
Yeah, some lists.
Like, 'cause they give you some autonomy in the flanks.
The vampirics, they
don't
need
really
in general.
mess up all the time. I mean, they do fail the friend to text, but
a lot.
But you can like reverse them towards your enemy.
Yeah,
it's like a trick a lot of people use.
Skirmishers
rather than face what you're actually moving towards, you just back them upwards.
Yeah.
If you want to use them offensively, so they don't decide to 5 fast cavalry. Always wanted to know what that tastes like. And they run off into oblivion.
Yeah, I should maybe make some fluff of them. Maybe it was like a 3-way that went wrong.
Oh God, no more! End it. No, I was thinking. Oh no, I forgot about it. I was going to say something really clever. It's gone now.
Yeah, it didn't come out.
No.
So yeah, I have those in special, and I have some fell bats, which are just the happy bats on the base.
Right, same size as the bat swarm?
They're exactly the same size, but I've actually have some smaller bats that have been included in the bat swarms, so they do look a bit different.
Right.
So there's a single bats on the bases, and then the bat swarms, which are lots of bats on the bases.
Okay.
So it's obvious, but they're all happy bats. And what else do I have? I think I'm running close. The very important unit is the black coach.
Have you made that?
Yeah, you've seen it, right?
I'm not sure.
It's made out of the Empire Hurricanum model. No, the Altar of Sigmar model.
So not the gypsy wagon.
The Pope wagon.
The Pope wagon.
It's made out of the Pope wagon.
Pope mobile.
Because I use a statue of the
Griffin
statue as the unit filler for the skeletons. That's like the statue that's like tumbled down and chopped up.
Clever.
And then, so I've used pretty much exactly that model.
Yeah, I think that would do great.
Yeah, and I painstakingly carved off all the icons of comets and hammers and women and thunderbolts. Oh my god! If you have this model, you know how long it took me to do that. It takes so long to like trim them all off to make it look like a coach of not of Sigmar.
Oh god!
Actually, all the Empire models that have insignia of Sigmar, I've chopped off.
Right.
Because that's like in the fluff. Like it's the same way as like vampires don't like Christianity symbols. Vlad von Karlstein doesn't like the symbols of Sigmar because they like burning.
Yeah.
So he like outlaws all the worship of Sigmar in Sylvania.
Yeah.
And that's like a step towards the kind of the conversion of Sylvania to
Right, that's
to the
beginning
undead.
of corruption.
Yeah.
Very fitting, very fitting.
So I've obviously painstakingly like shaved off all the comments of Sigmar and armor and things like that to kind of keep in with the fluff of the army. And to add to this model, I put a wraith sitting on the front with like a scythe.
Like testimony. Sorry. Like has to be there.
Yeah, and he's made out
Iconic,
of he's actually made out of an Equitane peasant model.
Yeah.
And a ring wraith hood.
Okay. Is there a sitting down peasant?
No, but I just converted his legs.
Oh,
and he has like
you just converted.
Yeah, and he has like skeleton legs as well from the skeleton sprue. So he's like a classic wraith.
Right.
Black with like a black hood
and a scythe.
And a scythe. Yeah. And then on the back we have the trailer trash. So it can also double up as a coven throne.
Oh, it's like bitches in the back?
Yeah, this is like a Isabella sat in the back in the chair. So like I modelled like green stuffed on like a
couch?
It's the couch from the Mortis engine or whatever. The coven throne.
Yeah.
And it's the vampire from the coven throne.
All right.
And it has like just a few bits to kind of make it.
I have not seen this.
Yeah.
We've been hard at work, and I've been gardening.
Yeah, pretty much.
More or less.
This was actually one of the first models I made. I'm pretty sure you've seen it.
I 100% haven't seen it. I have no idea what's going on here.
Okay. So yeah, basically it's the trailer trash sat in the back of the wagon. Yeah. And so it can it can kind of be the awakened vampire when the black coach gets
high enough.
Gets to high enough level, or it can be a coven throne if I wanted to run the Lamia list.
Yeah. And you probably just don't want to run the...
I ran it at a tournament actually.
The black coach?
I ran the Lamia list at a tournament.
Yeah. Because the black coach is like...
I think it's good. If you run it into the right thing, it kills a dragon with it.
Really?
Yeah. I played it.
How the hell did that happen?
I charged it into a dragon.
Yeah.
I did 1 or 2 wounds. I got charged in the flank with a spearman block, and I ground the shit out of the spearman block.
With what? It doesn't have that.
It has grind attacks.
Yeah, but only after
D3 grind attacks and 2 strength 5 wraith attacks and 2d6 horse attacks.
2d6.
Or maybe it's 2. But then the vampire gets 4 strength 5
he
attacks.
has to wake up first.
Yeah, but after like 2 or 3 rounds of killing spearmen,
he's like,
fuck
it, I'm
the
in
coach.
Yeah.
And then it was ethereal after a while.
Oh yeah.
Spooky. So yeah, spooky. It was a bit spooky, and the dragon couldn't harm it.
Oh yeah.
So I killed the spearman.
This dragon was just mongoloid mode over the course of these 16 rounds of combat.
Yeah, exactly. So so I just eventually ground out the spearman, and I was stubborn as well. Because I got the Von Karlstein
upgraded to be stubborn.
Yeah, so I didn't lose that much from combat res, and I was grinding out a lot every turn. So it was really good.
But you just stubborn, it's good. I agree with that.
Actually, I think first I charged a unit of 10 crossbowmen and killed them, and then overran into the spearmen or something like that.
But you have to do the wounds.
Yeah,
so they don't have to be unsafe wounds.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can ram them into knights, and then I did a lot of wounds on you. Yeah, but I saved it. It doesn't.
No, it has to be unsafe wounds.
No, it doesn't.
It does. I'm pretty sure it has to be unsafe wounds.
I don't think it's.
But regardless, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
My other rare units, we talked about the Vampire Knights. They've been really good actually in the game.
Yeah, I like them. 2 wounds, fixes cavalry.
Yeah.
Wink, wink.
Yeah. Strength 7 on the charge.
That too helps.
Yeah. I only have 2 more units. One of them is the Wraiths, and I have those as we talked about before with the mounted Wraith. I'm going to have some Pistoliers. Or the Writers.
Yeah.
And they're going to be, instead of pistols, they're going to have crossbows.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously fit with the theme.
Makes sense.
And they're just going to be like ghostly Writers.
Yeah.
So nothing special really there.
No.
But they can double up as Writers.
I always look at these models and units, and they're all so expensive. Can you fit them all in an army?
No.
No. Okay, so you have to pick and choose.
Yeah, the vampire army you have to be really, really selective.
Yeah.
You can only have pretty much 1 or 2 rare choices, but I just wanted to have the options. And
no, you don't, it doesn't have to. I've looked it up just now, by the way. The Dark Code.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be unsafe wounds.
Wow, that's really good then.
Yep. Well, it just says how many wounds this model has caused during the game. So it doesn't help you for running down stuff and whatnot.
Yeah, but you just have to do the wounds in combat.
You have to do the wounds in combat.
fair enough. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I recommend it. It's good fun. And
It's kind of a fun unit.
yeah, for sure.
I mean, in my opinion, the 4 wounds lets it down a little bit.
Toughness 6,
It's good.
4 plus war save, 4 plus armor save, vampiric 5 plus. It's durable as fuck. It's only got 4 wounds though.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But you can heal it.
Yeah, but not if it's dead.
But 4 plus war save, 4 plus armor save, and vampiric 5 plus.
Yeah.
So it regains a wound 33% of the time in combat.
So it does 3 wounds. Is it like... What is the vampiric wound?
Vampiric means that
For every wound, or like at the end of the
if you
phase?
cause 1 or more wounds in
Yeah,
combat,
then you get to roll the
then
dice.
you roll dice at the end and you regain a wound if you get the value.
I think it's tricky to use for 200 points.
Yeah,
It's tricky.
it's expensive.
It's tricky.
There's armor piercing 6 on the character.
Yeah, that's 3 attacks actually.
Yeah, and strength 5.
Yeah, it's good against knives, I think.
Yeah, it's good against the right thing.
Yeah.
Movement 8 swift strides, pretty good.
Yeah. It gets to fly at one point, right?
Yeah, it can fly and it can be ethereal. It's freaking boss. It's freaking spooky, bro.
When it does 13 wounds, it just goes banana split.
Yeah.
Sounds like 2 plus ward save model.
Yeah,
Toughness 6, come out the bro.
yeah, exactly. And if you got magical attacks, still got 4 plus water.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't care. Yeah, it's pretty good. So yeah, back to the von Karlsteins. So we have the Pistolier Writer dudes, and they're just going to be like with the fog again.
Yeah.
I haven't got as far as Spirit Host yet. I don't know what I'm going to build for them.
Easiest things in the
Yeah,
world.
but they're
There's
almost
so many
they're
options.
almost too easy. Like, I want to do something interesting. Yeah.
Let us know in the
Yeah,
comments.
we'll think about this. Yeah, good. That's a good competition for the end. We'll save it for the end. We've got one more unit. So my last unit is a zombie dragon / terrorgeist model. Like this one, I haven't really converted it that much. I haven't finished it yet either. It's still sitting on my desk. It's like basically I converted heavily the terrorgeist model, so it has like a really long neck and a really long nose, so it looks more like a dragon. So I want to use it for both.
Yeah.
And
A really long nose.
yeah, like a longer nose because the zombie
Sounds really
the
funny.
zombie dragon has quite a short
Yeah, it
stubby
does,
nose, so I
yeah.
like extended the nose with the old dragon nose,
Okay.
so it looks a bit more like a dragon. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in all the organs and then some of the skin,
Yeah.
so it actually looks like a zombie dragon
Okay.
rather than just like a skeleton dragon.
I'm really interested with the long nose because my immediate association, or maybe that's too rude, but like I'm thinking like you have to be very difficult that it doesn't look like a dragon with Down syndrome or something.
It does look a little bit like a dragon with Down syndrome. Yeah, I haven't, like I said, I haven't finished it yet. And the funny thing is, it's like the bendy nose from the highest dragon, and it looks like it's like a floppy nose. It looks like the nose has got limp because it's like a zombie dragon nose.
It's maybe like depressed. It's like hanging down.
Yeah, it looks like, imagine Snoopy when he's depressed. It's like,
Yeah.
do you ever watch the TV show The Raccoons?
No, we don't have that in Denmark. I
No.
don't think. No.
It's a good TV show.
What?
It has these like funny things with like these weird shaped noses.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks a little bit like that.
Ah, okay.
But yeah, I'm gonna do a bit more.
Retarded dragon with Down syndrome.
Yeah, pretty much. But it's a zombie dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah. my other thought was what I've been looking on eBay is I've been looking for like a plastic dinosaur skeleton.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was going to get like a plastic dinosaur
build
skeleton
it up from that.
and then get some plastic pterodactyl wings from dinosaurs and then stick it on the side and yeah, just convert it like that. I was thinking about making a second one if this one doesn't work because it looks pretty retarded. and it's going to be
I think everything was sounding really cool
until
until
the
you
long
said
nose.
extended nose.
It will look good. Like these things look better the more work you put in, and I haven't put that much work into
Right,
it
okay.
yet. But we'll see.
We'll see if it can be saved.
Yeah.
Let's hope.
So that's
Let's hope for it.
Yeah.
Additional advances.
we're gonna have to use some invocation and make its nose a bit more stiff. So yeah, that's my my vampire project.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as we said just a second ago, I'm thinking of ideas for spirit hosts.
Yeah.
Give me your ideas.
It has to be hipster. It has to be non-standard.
It has to be a little bit outside the box.
Yeah.
and it has to be something that I can also use for the Empire of Sunstyle army.
Does it?
It could be flatulence.
But on a 40mm base?
Yeah, we just do 4 like unit fillers.
Yeah.
Just like.
Well, with the new, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see. I think they're going to get changed.
I think they're going to go.
I think they're going
back in the closet.
Toughness 3, weapon skill 2.
I mean, let's just say that when everybody's running prelates and flatulence, rules balancing board's going to come out with the band hammer.
Yeah, the Nerf bat is going to smack them silly.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, let's take a quick break here, and we'll be back in. Welcome back to Ammertime Podcast, episode 11. You're here with Christopher and Henry. We've just been talking some hobby, and now we're going to give you our usual
Power gaming
stuff.
How to win, make people cry.
how to not make friends.
Hobby killer list 101.
Something like that. So we went to the ETC warm up last month, 2 months ago.
Yeah, and we were ambitious. Going into this,
we were ambitious.
We were actually saying that we had a decent chance of placing in the top 3.
No, we didn't. No, we thought we were going to get our ass smashed.
Yeah, we were like,
we're playing with the big boys. But yeah, we did all right.
We did all right. We winded up at 5th place.
Fifth place out of 10?
8? 9?
Something like that.
Something like that.
So we came mid pack.
Yeah.
And Christopher here, you came out of everyone.
Out of 80 people? Yeah.
80 people.
80 people. I think.
A lot of people.
A lot of people.
You came number 2.
Yeah.
And where did Rasmus come? 8? 6?
Something
10?
like that. Something like that.
So Rasmus's dick puncher list that we were talking about, that some people said were not good.
Yeah.
Was quite good.
Yeah. Like the inferior podcast.
The inferior podcast. Maybe we should use my last 3% of battery on that.
Yeah, maybe. So returning to like competitive rivalry.
Yeah.
We have Ammerhammer versus Thundercocks. The result, we had like a mini tournament within the tournament.
Yeah, they wagered.
They wagered that they were the better podcast than us. And clearly we were keen to prove them wrong.
Yes.
And we did.
We had a Ammerhammer Game 1 grudge match between Christopher and Jack and Alex and Rasmus.
Yeah. And
let me just say that also, Alex changed his list at last minute.
Yeah.
Shenanigans.
Pro.
Yeah.
Like, I'm playing this. Yeah, I'm just going to bring this.
Just going to change from my ogres to...
In all fairness, it was pretty impressive that they put up with the resistance that they actually did, considering their state.
Yeah.
Having been out all night drinking.
I took them out, which was maybe a little bit of a disadvantage to them.
Yeah, well, it's part of the game.
But regardless, Ammerhammer...
We won, and we have not heard the promised recognition.
Yeah, so the wager was that the losing podcast would do a segment on their show explaining that the other podcast was in fact the better podcast
in every way.
It was, I don't know if it was that much, but it was definitely saying the other podcast has to make a segment that says the other podcast is the best podcast.
There has to be dick licking and sucking and caressing the balls.
Yes, some kind of reckoning. So this is a little bit of a shout out to Jack
and Alex.
Make
it happen.
We beat you 21-19.
Yes.
We want our
21-19.
We want our segment.
Yeah.
Please.
Not please. We demand.
We demand. Yes. So we won.
But
deal with it.
We
officially the best Ninth Age podcast.
Or we will proclaim ourselves the best podcast.
Yeah, we'll start putting that on the front of our show if you don't do it.
Absolutely, definitely better than Thundercocks podcast.
Yeah. Not the number one Ninth Age podcast in the UK, but the number one Ninth Age podcast
in the world.
I don't know about that. There's some other podcasts as well.
Okay.
So yeah, back to ETC.
Throwing down the glove.
Yeah, back to ETC.
Back to ETC.
So yeah, Christopher came second overall in a single sense. So what we want to do, we want to quickly talk about Christopher's list, and Christopher maybe talk about some synergies, how it works, and maybe just quickly some of the not going through all the games, but just some highlights.
Overall, the list I made was based on adaptability, because I felt moving into this that we needed lists that could be both defensive, offensive, and reactionary, depending on what your opponent was playing and all these kind of things. So I tried to decide to make a list that could do everything and that was kind of difficult to take points away from. Now I know a lot of guys, they really prefer to play with a lot of flag, with a lot of redirectors and all that, and I really don't like that, because what I really want is units that are good in the sense that I can move them away if I'm in danger of losing them, or if I do lose them, it's not going to be that many points. So like hordes of cheap, shitty infantry, a lot of wounds, like very mobile Pegasus Knights that I can move away if I lose some of them, so just save the points. I didn't give many battle points away in any games. Everything's tough as nails or big units. That worked out really, really well, obviously.
So maybe you just want to quickly go through your list.
Yeah, it's 2 units of skirmishing Pegasus Knights, a Lord and a Hippogriff that's tooled to kill single models, a BSB that's also tooled to kill single models with a great weapon and some multiple wound shenanigans. Level 2 with white magic, level 2 with beast magic, 30 archers, 60 peasants with spears.
And they have a reliquary, what?
Yeah, they've got they've got the original, the OG pussy wagon.
OG pussy wagon.
2 bow throwers.
Mine's the trailer trash.
Mine's the trailer trash. Actually, they've got there's like 6 dudes.
Okay.
It's like the original redneck. Anyway, 2 scorpions, which are like bow throwers on steroids.
Ordnance.
Yeah. Just to deal with flying characters, so that flying single models really.
A little bit of pressure.
Yeah, they didn't in this tournament. I think they were only facing off against 1 flying character.
Okay.
And they killed him.
Okay.
They trick shot him.
Win.
Hardcover, long range.
6s.
Didn't matter. Hit him.
Didn't care.
Wound him.
Take it
Killed him.
Oh dear.
So it was awesome. No, they did what they were supposed to do, and they put some threat. It's just a nice little threat to have.
And you only have 1 unit of knights, right?
I have 1 unit of knights, which is there to bodyguard my white magic mage, because the spells are sort of short range. So
the other mage is on foot, right? In the peasants.
in the archers here.
Yeah.
Just hanging back with a scroll, and because a lot of I'm always trying to get like a swarm of insects.
Okay.
Because it's 48-inch range and like good at killing war machines, which is what I needed. Yeah, that was my list.
Yeah.
There's not a lot in it.
And how did you feel the matchup process worked? Did it work in your favour, or?
Well, I had mostly bad matchups because I got matched up against Empire of Sunstorm.
Yeah, Empire, the dick puncher.
Yeah, and then
net list.
One of the first game against the Swedish team, I just lost by a little bit because I couldn't pass a leadership 9 rerollable test, and then my peasants
happens every now and again.
So yeah, I lost that one. I think by the end of it, 11 or maybe 13-7 in his favor, and then I mostly stomped people in the good matches, and I had good dice, didn't have any horrible dice. Overall, that helped quite a lot.
Really bad dice the whole tournament.
Yeah,
we didn't talk about that.
Yeah. But I mean, no, I think what can be learned, the lessons that I learned from this is flying is still good. You need something to counter single models, and you need to be able to play avoidance. And even if you can't play avoidance, you need to be able to castle. And so I think it's testimony to like the 9th age that you need to, in a sort of way, bring lists that are active in all phases of the game and in all aspects of all the phases, both like redirecting, fleeing, like having like every single tool from the toolbox available to you just helps you so much.
Yeah.
A lot of ranks to break steadfast, very useful to have.
Yeah, because you kind of had like the hammer units, which are the characters and the Pegasus Knights.
Yeah, to a certain extent also the BSB. He was really like a boss. Like,
and then you also have like the anvil of the Realm Knights and the anvil of the big block of peasants.
Yeah, yeah.
So you kind of have both kind of units. You have the shooting, you have the magic, and you have the character killers.
And there just isn't the same amount of mass removal in the game as there used to be.
Yeah, so
like the vortexes and all that, they're almost gone. No one really uses them because they disappear
a bit safer
now.
with the big units of infantry.
You really are, and it's a lot of points when you don't lose them. And they will be steadfast for ages, and even if they wouldn't, I could put the reliquary in there, and it's annoying to kill, especially.
So, how do you feel your army worked with the objectives? Do you think it
can play all the objectives, really?
Yeah.
And I usually,
is there any you struggle with?
Maybe the multiple objective ones.
Yeah.
But that was only in the first game. like single point objectives, like march 60 peasants up there, and then the Knights of the Realm and the Archers. That's 3 banners that are really tough.
Yeah.
You
have 30 archers, right?
Yeah, 30 archers, 60 peasants.
That's 30 wounds.
Yeah, so it's like 90 wounds if you want to shift like the peasants away, and the Pegasus Knights are standing behind these units, like counter-charging out.
So you almost played it like a little bit like a cat, like almost like a gun line in a way. Like you had like a little bit of a castle, and then your knights and the Pegasus is flying around behind and at the sides.
Yeah, I mean, if I was playing against an opponent that was faster than me, I would castle in the corner. But I placed again, so like avoidance units or armies like Wood Elves, I placed against Sylvan Elves. He was like trying to shoot me, and at the beginning of my deployment, I was almost making a mistake. I was trying to like deploy in the center, thinking, okay, I can do this and this, and then I remembered, no, I'm playing against a skirmishing army that has very high mobility.
Much faster than you.
What you do is you just go in the corner, try to give yourself as much cover from your skirmishing Pegasus Knights as possible, so that he's going to be shooting at you with cover all around, and you just sit there and you take it. And then you kind of slowly develop outwards and try to like squeeze units into corners so that they can't get out of you. And then by the end of that, I just picked him apart with it, and he didn't shoot me enough.
And take the objectives.
Yeah, by the end of it, I think we actually drawed on the objective in that because it's Wood Elves, and it was like 2 objectives, and like 2 units of Heath Riders.
I guess when you're in a corner, you can just you can only play for 1 objective.
Exactly. So you can only play for the draw in that one, which is what I did.
Yeah.
And
but when you're playing ETC, that's kind of what you're almost playing for. You're going for a small win.
I think the lessons that we learned from the ETC is that you need to have every single army needs to be able to do everything.
Yeah, I for sure. I think my first game in the ETC warm up, I went for a 20-0, and then I didn't get 20-0, and I realised that.
Big mistake.
I shouldn't go for 20-0 in this. I should just, because I was winning. I killed both Helplets in the Skaven on the second, third turn. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I'm fucking winning. Let's go and smash his let's go smash his block up. Yeah. And then it didn't happen.
Yeah,
and then turned around, and I think I won 11-9 in the end. Yeah. But I could have just stayed back and won like 17-3.
Yeah, play them safe, play the small victories. Yeah. Like 13-7.
Yeah,
that's really good win. Really good win because there's a cap on how much a team can win. So it doesn't matter if everybody wins 20-0 or not.
Yeah. So yeah, that was Kristoffers' experience from the ETC.
There's more about it on the Kingdom of Aquitaine forum.
Yes. And you can find his list there as well. Yes. I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
If you would like to know any more information about Kristoffers' list or my vampire counts, or even Kristoffers' assassin army.
There will be a blog.
There will be a blog at some point.
There will be a blog.
You can give us an email on ammertimedk@gmail.com. You can also find pictures of my vampire counts on the user blog section under, I think it's called the von Karlsteins, or under my signature there's a link. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the show tonight. A little bit different talking about hobby. And yeah.
Hobby heroes!